Hello, gladiators! Welcome back to another episode of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Been a little bit weird with uploads recently. I was trying to upload We Were Here Too with Wander, and uh, I had to edit it a little bit, so I couldn't just upload the straight file. And DaVinci Resolve was not having it, and I'm not sure what it was about. But I was able to render it to my computer at least without uploading it, and then I was able to upload it from my computer to YouTube, so we got that sorted out. Either way, let's go ahead and jump back into the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Previously, where we left off, we had just settled a dispute between the quorums, between the Quorum Gazette and the nobles, who did not wish it just to be noble opinions. We hosted a party, and due to our diplomacy and tactfulness, we were able to uh, let it have a peaceful resolve. Our career advanced, as well as improving our justice. I think our willpower's in the trash, and it cost us a little bit of family wealth. Yes. So we are now at 0 willpower. We probably got about one more important action in us. We'll see how this goes. Life and suffering of Sir Brante is not responding currently. And now it's back. Protector of the people, an event has happened. The people of Anazot know and praise you as a defender of the common people's rights. Alright. Doesn't say life and suffering of Sir Brante isn't... Ah, there it is. Computer's being a little bit weird of it. The call of the ancestors. Today is a big day for the Brante family. The day your family line started, the day when you remember all your ancestors. Tonight, everyone who bears the name Brante must descend into the family crypt to keep vigil by the tombs. This is the time to surrender yourself to your ancient ancestors and hear their will. The entire family prepares for the event in silence. Stefan has been choosing his apparel since morning, praying anxiously under his breath all the while. The heir has a special place in the family vigil. Even Mother is planning to go with you, though Father tries to talk her out of it. Lydia, I beg of you, stay home. You are far too weak for an all-night vigil in the crypt. Gloria, would you be so kind as to stay with your mother since you cannot join us anyway? Gloria answers in a muffled voice. As you wish, Sir Robert. The late Sir Gregor would only be enraged to see Mother there. We all remember how their last encounter ended. Father nods curtly, avoiding Gloria's gaze. But at that moment, your attention is drawn to a noise in the foyer. Nathan staggers through the door, stumbling over his own feet. He reeks of cheap wine and filth. I'm not, late, am I? Everyone gazes at him in consternation. Nathan almost falls into Mother's and Gloria's arms. Distressed, they fuss over him. Stefan eyes his youngest brother coldly. I expected nothing more of you, Nathan. Why even speak of duty to your family when you can't even manage to live by the commoner's lot? Go lie down in the pantry and stay out of our sight. Father, Roman, it's time. Let's go. Alongside Father and Stefan, you descend into the family crypt. You cannot help but... Sorry, I lost my place. You cannot help but remember paying your last respects to your grandfather 9 years ago. You light the lamps. Dim and eerie flames illuminate the shrine. In the middle of it stands a magnificent tomb containing the long decayed remains of Gregor Brante. You take your places around the crypt and kneel. The all-night vigil has begun. At first, your ancestors remain silent. Each of you is left with your own thoughts. Then, a low murmur passes around you. The shadows in the corners of the room deepen. The voices grow stronger. You know that the ancestors of Gregor Brante, long-forgotten commoners whom you never knew, are trying to talk to you. But now a memory of them has come to life in the darkness of the crypt. They are pleading for something, demanding it of you, calling out to you, screaming. Finally, you hear all that painfully familiar, deep, imperious voice echo from the far end of the chamber. It's been a long time since I've seen you all. I hope you bear good tidings. All this time I've been waiting for you to fulfill my mission. Remember, as long as I am in your blood, I will give you no peace. I did not have my family ennobled just to see our line cut short. Our blood tide must join the grand flow of the empire, and then each of my descendants will inherit nobility forever and ever. But I do not see any of you before my tomb. Where are you hiding? Where is the head of our family, the man who will speak to me? Where is the man who will heed my will? Father rises from his knees and makes his way towards Grandfather's stone tomb, the source of that booming voice. But Stefan suddenly pushes him out of the way. Father takes an indignant step forward, but Stefan firmly bars the way. Stop it, Stefan. You are my heir, but you are not head of this family. Father, it is not you that Sir Gregor is addressing. Earning the nobility of the sword is my duty to him. He has long forsaken any hope of seeing you achieve it. You must understand that I am the one who will fulfill that duty. Stefan does not let him pass. Father breathes heavily in anger. You can all but feel the frantic beating of both their hearts. Both your father and brother seem to have forgotten that you are here too. Even the restless voice of your ancestors have grown hushed, waiting for the outcome of this confrontation. Damn, what is this though? What? This doesn't even cost any. It does cost willpower, but I can stick it to Stefan. Valor gets a huge increase. Oh, this might be so very worth it. Doesn't do any destiny points, and it gives me a ton of valor. Robert Brante will still be affectionate towards us, though Stefan will be will be quite pissed. But we get Gregor Brante on our side. I'm down with this. I hate Gregor Brante, but Stefan needs to eat it a little bit. While Stefan blocks your father's way, you step forward yourself. Now they are both trying to stop you, but you are already loudly addressing the spirit of Sir Gregor. Sir Roman of the Brontes is the man who will speak to him. Well, well. Look who we have here. It's Roman himself, a recent nobleman of the mantle and a judge. I must admit, grandson, it has always been my belief that you would not be satisfied by the commoner's lot, even when I punished you for your escapades. But are you up to your old tricks again? Do you truly imagine yourself to be the head of this family? What about my spineless son and his rightful heir, Stefan? Are you planning to take his place? You look over your shoulder. Father has covered his face with his hands, flustered. Stefan is clenching his fists angrily and whispering something under his breath. Since you have been so bold as to speak to me, you will hear my will, Roman. Dead though I may be, my will still lives. And you are all the embodiment of it in the living realm. Earning the nobility of the sword is the great cause of anyone who bears the name of Brante. Your duty by blood is to earn us a place in eternity, just as it is my duty to look out for you even from beyond the grave. Your father's follies have become a veritable threat, and I must help you overcome it. You still cater to those foundlings, Lydia and Gloria, risking a permanent blemish upon the Brante family. Brante name. My name. You are but a step away from leading our family to shame and ruin. Your grandfather's authoritative speech is suddenly interrupted by your father. No, father, this is impossible. Even if I must defy your will, I am responsible for Gloria. My honor and my conscience will not allow me to do what you demand. You must accept this, or keep on fighting me for all eternity. It is not you that I am speaking, Robert. Roman, take the family cause into your hands. Do not take after your father. Do not shy away from taking responsibilities for your actions. Do what must be done. Cleanse our family of wickedness. You do not have time to respond. Stefan's strong arm hurls you to one side, but when your elder brother addresses grandfather instead of you, he is shaking. Sir Gregor, Roman must be out of his mind. I am the heir here. I am ready to heed your will. You have heard it, Stefan, and do not let anyone usurp your rightful place again. Otherwise, you will lose your very birthright. Stefan answers his ancestor in a strained voice. I will do my duty to my family, Sir Gregor. Whatever the price, I will pay it. The crypt is completely silent once more. The spirit of Gregor Brante has left. You are all alone again. You see tears glistening on Stefan's face. Without a sound, he detaches himself from you and leaves the crypt. Your father casts a disdainful glance at you and follows him up the stairs. You are left in the semi-darkness alone with the invisible spirits of the dead that follow your family everywhere, even from oblivion. Whatever the will of your deceased grandfather may be, you have proven your ancestors that you have the right to hear it on behalf of the Brante family. The vigil is over. Alright, so I got sympathy from all Alright, Seasoned Warrior 2. We seriously need to get some willpower. Like, I don't know what else to do. Like, all of the options so far are just too good to go for the one that gives willpower. But I think we can start lowering our dedication to diplomacy and valor. Just a few days into the year, Mayor Egmont, chairman of the Lesser Quorum and owner of several mines, made a speech that caused quite a stir in the province. Though a commoner, Egmont had the gall to demand that the Mogren authorities both enforce and obey imperial law. What's the use of the imperial laws if they aren't enforced as they should be? Even today, any Enazot noble who gets up to the wrong side of the bed can draw his sword and run a commoner through with impunity. These gentlemen may be our rulers, but does that mean they can defy the Emperor's will? Sir Elborn has been appointed to enforce the rule of law in Magra. How come the prefect doesn't see this? We commoners aren't trying to seize the noble lot and take over the province, but the true rule of tradition is a thing of the past. This is the age of justice. We may not all be equals in its eyes, but even the nobles and clergy must obey the law. The Mogren aristocracy is furious with Egmont and demands that he be silenced, but the rich industrialist has too much money and too many connections to be dealt with so easily. You hear more and more rumors about the secret societies of commoners appearing in the city, plotting against noble rule. The gentry fears that Egmont and his peers might be behind this, but they have no proof, at least for now. Father Lenart, abbot of the Temple of the Silver Tree and leader of the New Believers, supports Egmont and has spoken publicly in his favor. The twins themselves entrusted the noble estate with the right to rule over the common folk, but rulers must also care for their subjects. The old faith is mistaken. No commoner should ever be forced to suffer. It is for this very reason that the imperial law exists. It is there to ease the people's suffering. May those laws be duly enforced, and may they serve all the people of the empire. Ooh. No, Wealth of Magra, come back. It is another day at the prefecture. A secretary peeks into your office with a message from the prefect. There's a new case he wishes you to handle. You put away your quill and walk to Sir Elborn's office. To your surprise, he happens to have another visitor already. There's a graceful figure sitting across from your immediate superior, none other than Octavia Melanidas. After all the times you have met her in the capital, you expected the Archduke's daughter to be brilliantly, lavishly dressed. But her appearance today is modest and formal, with a high-necked dress and a strict bun. However, her demure attire only serves to emphasize her role as a distinguished visitor to the prefecture. You bow to the prefect and the noble Archnean lady. Octavia offers you a curt greeting, then returns to the conversation you have interrupted. This matter can brook no delay, Baron Elborn. The young judge may well await outside. Nonetheless, Sir Elborn insists that you come in and take a seat. Worry not, Brante. Aren't interrupting at all? Lady Melanidas, I was scheduled to meet with Sir Brante at this very hour. I regret to inform you that your visit was perhaps somewhat unfortunately timed. Octavia rises from the soft, high-backed chair. The young Arcanian lady now stands tall, elegant, and indignant. You are out of line, Sir Elborn. Archduke Melanidas has graced you with a representative from his dynasty, and you will listen to what I have to say this instant. The Archduke has expressed concern over your manner of governance at the prefecture. You have always been headstrong and eager to infringe upon the freedoms of your own noble estate, but now it appears you find it acceptable to conduct proceedings against our own loyal subjects. Our dynasty has already seen many loyal nobles of the sword arrested or faced with punishment in court. Where will this lead? Do you mean to enforce your lowly laws against us Arcanians? Do not forget that those laws were written to keep low-born humans in check. Our lives have always been governed by noble honor and tradition, as well as the blood tide that is our heritage. Our only justice is the court of honor. The only rule above us is that of our sovereign, the Emperor, and the twins. Our only duty is to our kin and our forefathers. My ancestor Carmelanidas himself granted the boon of nobility to you humans. It would be most unwise to make me regret his decision of old. In the name of Archduke Melanidas, I demand that you end any and all proceedings against our subjects at once. Sir Elborn acknowledges Lady Octavia's vehement speech with a calm smile and nothing else. He shows no trepidation, no tremor, no fear, even though the lady across from him represents one of the Empire's mightiest dynasties. Lady Melanidas, the twins have graced the blessed Arcanian lineage with a boon of long life, yet the world can be quick to change at times. The laws of the Empire now govern the nobles of the mantle and even the nobles of the sword, along with the common estate. This particular change is not as recent as it might seem. The laws of the Empire are the decrees of the Emperor himself, the twins' chosen supreme sovereign. His laws are his will, which is, as you said yourself, the only rule above us. And that means all of us, from a high-born Arcanian to the lowest commoner. Presently, the Emperor's representative in our province is Overseer Gaius Tempest. Like the prefecture in its entirety, I am simply obeying the Overseer's will and the laws of the Empire. Then pray tell me, Baron Elborn, who is your own sovereign and protector? He is none other than my father Archduke Melanidas. You swore him an oath of fealty and vassalage. It is your duty to follow his word and will, or do you wish the Archduke himself to address you directly? I tell you, cease this harassment of our loyal noble subjects at once. I will not leave until this order is carried out. Why, Lady Melanidas, I'm afraid this is quite impossible. As a servant of the Empire and Imperial Overseer Gaius Tempest, it is my duty to enforce the law. Now, if you will excuse me, Sir Brante and I have urgent matters to discuss. The gaze of the Archduke's daughter is locked with the prefects in a silent struggle. Each expects the other to back down first. But then Octavia suddenly turns towards you. But I believe the young judge has more in him than blind obedience. Surely you are able to distinguish a rightful claimant from a threat to the province, are you not? Silence resounds within the prefect's office. They are both waiting for you to speak. I need willpower. Can't do it. Lowers justice. I'm gonna have to do this one. Sorry. He's my boss. You engage in the argument and respectfully mention that your business with the prefect is urgent indeed. There are many issues that need to be resolved with Sir Elborn. I begin listing them off one after another to prove my point. Octavia's face grows dark. She shakes her elegant head in indignation. What a shame, Brante, seeing you eating out of this visionless gentleman's hand. And I hoped you were bold enough to have an opinion of your own. It seems my ancestor Melanidas was mistaken after all. Humans will never realize what it means to be a noble and live in honor. And as for you, Sir Elborn, The Melanodas dynasty will continue this conversation, whether you like it or not. I'm afraid our next meeting will not be as innocuous as today's. Octavia rises from her seat, elegantly yet quickly. A moment later, you hear her high heels clacking away in the corridor. Sir Elborn sighs with relief. Thank you for showing her what you're made of, Roman. I appreciate loyalty to the cause. The Prefecture and the Archduke are about to enter a full-blown war. It's a pleasure to see a reliable judge on my side. Archduke Melanodas is testing the Prefecture with his daughter. Otherwise, he'd have asked me to visit his palace personally. He's showing caution, which means we still stand strong, at least for now. We will continue our service to the law without regard for the outmoded ways of the past. But I digress. This is high politics, and the Prefecture still has plenty of cases to resolve. Let's get back to our work, Judge Brante. With that, Elborn hands you a new case file. You thank the Baron and head back to your office to study it properly. It's time to get back to work. The repercussions of your most recent encounter with the Archduke's daughter Octavia soon manifest themselves. A letter bearing the seal of the great dynasty of Melanodas arrives the next day. Inside the envelope you find an invitation to Castle Serpenverda, the Archduke's residence. Visiting the Archduke of Magra himself is a great honor. To decline such an invitation would be an insult of colossal magnitude. You immediately purchase a new doublet in the latest fashion and ask Father to lend you a precious family brooch. It depicts the Brante family crest, and the leaves on the oak branch are made of tiny emeralds. Octavia should find it to her liking. Your family cannot help but notice your preparations. I almost turned into Porky Pig. Help. Father watches nervously as you make sure everything is ready for your journey. This odd invitation has me worried, my son. Be careful in the Archduke's castle. You're still of low-born origin. Arcane attention spells danger to people like us every time. Remember not to displease them, or the Melanodoses will grind our family into dust. Come early morning, the carriage takes you away from the border walls of Anazot. It takes you a full day to reach Serpenverda, along the dusty, sun-scorched high road. While on the road, you read notes on Arcane traditions and rules of etiquette again and again. To preserve your family's honor, you must make the best possible impression. The provincial powers will be watching your every step, and so will Octavia with her cunning grin. Only as the sun is about to set do you manage to spot the dark, colossal shape of Castle Serpenverda, a towering fortification of jet-black stone spread across a peak looming over the bed of a long-gone river. The carriage climbs the narrow serpentine road to the castle gate. Soldiers of the Archduke's guard approach you, and you present them with the invitation. The guards eye you with suspicion, but give the signal to open the gate. You are now inside the walls of the Archduke's castle. You had expected to see many carriages of other guests beyond the gate, but the courtyard is strangely empty. The guards show you to a servant who guides you to a room reserved for guests and leaves you there to wait. The servant soon returns, and you follow him through the dimly lit corridors of Serpenverda, lavishly adorned with silver, emeralds, and weapons of war. The castle is silent. There is no noise, no music. It seems completely uninhabited. The sound of your footsteps is smothered by the soft velvet beneath your feet. The servant stops in front of a pair of massive doors made of black wood. This is your destination. He gestures silently. You enter an enormous room, its walls covered in portraits and ancestral relics. In the very center of the room is a towering throne carved of black wood. Upon the throne, you see the delicate silhouette of Octavia Melanodas, clad in a black velvet dress embroidered in silver. With a commanding gesture, the Arcanian lady bids you approach. You're here at last. Are you surprised, Roman? How odd. You didn't think my father would actually summon you to an Arcanian castle, did you? Or are you truly that naive? How sweet of you. No, it was I who summoned you here. You are alone in the castle. Portraits cover the walls. Portraits of Arcanians with dark eyes and jet black hair. They all resemble birds of prey, and their eyes seem to watch you with contempt that makes you uneasy. Allow me to introduce you to my family. Family, this is a human by the name of Brante. What do you think of him, father? She casts a defiant glance at the portrait of the Archduke Melanidas. Then she removes a glove from her hand and casts it as well. It hits the great Archduke right in the nose. Octavia laughs at that, and the tall walls and innumerable portraits echo her voice. Baffled, you ask Lady Melanidas why she has summoned you. Because you have caught my attention. I noticed you, even when you were somewhat younger than you are now. And then I started seeing you again and again. I've caught myself thinking about you quite often. And so I've decided that I wish to possess you. You will become my companion. Other humans will envy you, but no one will dare to cross you. My name will open any door you like. In return, you will satisfy my every whim, and I will do with you as I please. Octavia rises from the throne, the hem of her dress lifting up to reveal her elegant, slender leg. You know the history of this throne, yes? My ancestor, Carmelanidas, used to sit here during the rebellion of Magra. Can you imagine that? Carmelanidas made decisions that transformed the entire empire, all from this very seat. And now it's gathering dust in this vainglorious art gallery of my father's. Now come to me, human. Octavia waits for you to do her bidding. One does not argue with an Archnean. Since the dawn of the Empire, they have taken whatever they want. If you refuse Octavia, daughter to the Archduke of Magra, you will insult her greatly. If you submit to this Archnean woman, if you become her plaything, everybody will know you are in the good graces of Lady Melanidas herself. As a human, what more could you possibly dream of? You recall your chance encounters with her, from the days of your youth to more recent times. What are your feelings for this exceptional Archnean lady? And what does she truly want from you? If you are willing to enter into a perilous romance with Octavia, perhaps you could do it on your own terms, returning her affections while keeping your honor. Would she defy all the traditions of old for you and recognize you as her equal, even if only in secret? Octavia arcs her back on her father's throne and waits for you, her slender hand beckoning you closer. And we don't have a choice. Alright. You have seen Octavia only briefly, and yet you seem to understand something about her already. You know what she wants, and you know how to take advantage of it. And so you follow the beckoning silky glove to the throne. Octavia stretches out her legs to you, a toying look in her eyes. She is wearing black velvet high heels. Alright, Brante, I need me and you to be straight on one thing. This is not going to be a foot thing, we understood? This is the last mention, correct? No, it's not. Remove these. I am tired. You kneel chivalrously before her and take off one shoe, then another. Stockings cover her feet and legs. Smooth silk, so soft to the touch. You run your hand along her calf and chant it. Come closer. Don't make me lean toward you. You bring yourself closer. Octavia reaches out for your still bowed head, her hands roughly caressing your face. A moment passes, and suddenly her arms wrap around your neck and her legs lock around your torso as she pulls you closer to her with all her might. You freeze in terror for a moment, not daring to resist the Archnean's assault. Then, just as suddenly, Lady Melanidas lets you go and stands. Without her shoes, she is shockingly tiny, barely as high as your shoulder. She suddenly grasps you by the cravat and drags you onto the throne. So, human, how do you like the seat of the great Carmelanidas? Just a piece of wood, don't you agree? Uncomfortable, too, but spacious enough for two. Octavia's eyes are dark, black as the starless sky. The Archnean woman tears off your clothes, and her ravenous lips find your bare skin. Vicious and insatiable, she thirsts for pleasure. But why does she seek it with you? Why would she humiliate her ancestors, her very dynasty, by having an affair with a human? Seeing you preoccupied, Octavia slaps you across the face and tells you to keep going. Your lips do her bidding, running down her body in a state of considerable undress. Octavia's inhuman passion swallows you and overtakes you, devoid of all tenderness. The youngest woman of the Melanidas dynasty demands, and you obey, until the vast hall echoes with her satisfied moan. Octavia caresses your hair assertively. What do you want now, my human? You humbly bow and respond that all you want is to serve Lady Melanidas, satisfying her every whim, her every secret desire. Yet she would bring you great happiness if you and your family could live and prosper in her good graces, alive and safe from intrigue and ambush of any kind. With your family secure, you would be free to serve her as long as you live. My, you know your price, young Brante. And with whom should I put a word in for you, my sweet boy? You beg her to mention your name to the oldest of the Archduke's vassals, the most ancient family of Anazat, to mention that your family enjoys the Archduke's favor and deserves to be ennobled by the sword for all time. Octavia laughs at that. Her fingers squeeze your chin painfully. Ennobled by the sword? Your ambitions run so low. But what am I saying? You're only human after all. Very well, I'll be your secret patron as long as you keep me entertained. Bring me my clothes and help me get properly dressed. Then go to your room for the night. You will leave at dawn and return to your silly service and your cases. I'll visit Anazat now and again and send you letters when I wish to meet you. My pleasure is your first and most important duty from now on. Never forget that. You kneel before Lady Melanidas and kiss her hand. You could never forget, not even if you wanted to. And I think with that happening, that's where we're going to end today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Here's the call to action. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the YouTube stuff. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. Have a good night.